Hi, everyone. Anne O'Connell with OC Publishing here, and welcome to the author journey. We're very excited today. We're going to go children's author today. I have Victoria Deodato with me, who is the author of this gorgeous book, A Walk in Ola's Shoes. Look at those illustrations. If you're an animal lover, this one is going to really draw you in. But even if you're not an animal lover, this one is definitely worth a look-see. It's an eco-conscious tale told from the perspective of a sensitive child who is passionate about saving animals. Ola will take readers on a journey of self-discovery as they walk in her shoes. I'm going to let Victoria do a little reading later, so I'm not going to tell you any more about A Walk in Ola's Shoes, but Victoria was a dedicated teacher, or has been a dedicated teacher for the last 20 years, raising two marvelously precocious daughters and having an almost unhealthy obsession with Dr. Seuss. Can I relate to that? Who doesn't love Dr. Seuss? And he just recently had a birthday, I think, or it was the Cat in the Hat. Victoria Deodato was bound to write a children's book. She enjoys spending time with her family, walking on the beach, and rescuing dogs. Victoria resides in Nova Scotia, Canada, with her wonderful husband, Mark, and their rescue dogs, Gord and Gina. So let's learn a little bit more about, hang on a second, about Victoria. I'm going to bring her up to join me. And here she is. Hi, Victoria.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining me on the author journey today. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm thrilled. This
No,
is
it's
so nice.
absolutely my pleasure. And I want to, Sue Slade says hello. I was just going to say, Sue Slade
Hi, Sue.
encouraged me from the Dartmouth Book Exchange, encouraged me to take a look at your book.
She's
And
just a lovely person. They're lovely there. That the bookstore is just, I love it.
so supportive. And before I
Amazing.
forget,
Amazing.
if we're able to pique people's interest, there are copies, signed copies at Dartmouth Book Exchange.
Yes.
So where did A Walk in Ola's Shoes come from? Like, what inspired you to write this story?
I have two, like you said in my intro, I have two lovely daughters that are huge animal lovers, just like me. My mother was as well.
Mhm.
And when they were young, I read to them all the time. And my favorite books to read are rhyming books, like bar none.
Mm.
Favorite books, and especially Seuss. I
They
am
are.
obsessed with Seuss. Olivia, who is Ola in the book, her favorite story when she was little was The Grinch. And when she was 3 years old, she could recite it
I
word
love the
for
Grinch.
word. I have video evidence of this. It's
And
amazing.
sing the song, I bet.
Yeah. Oh, she knew it so well, and both the kids did, and Sarah loved them too. And we would read books like Jillian Jiggs and A Room and a Broom, and all these amazing rhyming books. And I've always just found rhyming is just something that it gives me goosebumps when I read a really good rhyming book. And I've always been, kind of good at rhyming myself. So um, when they were little, and we were really getting involved in animal rights, and it was my youngest one that one day we came down to have breakfast. And there, sitting on the kitchen table, was the Whig Standard, was the Kingston. I'm from Kingston, Ontario, and the paper was sitting there. And there was a picture of a bear in a tutu with a muzzle on, and he was standing upright, and the trainer, where they were nose to nose, and the trainer was
Oh
there.
my
He had
gosh.
a bull hook in his hand, and he definitely, the trainer looked more menacing than the bear.
Mm.
And Olivia looked at it, and she almost started to cry. She said, "Oh, poor bear." And she looked at me and she said, "Mom, what can we do?" And I thought, well,
Oh,
your first response was, well, we can't do anything. But I
sweet.
thought, well, we can do something. And her and both Sarah drove me crazy about what can we do about it. And so we organized an animal rights group, and
Wow.
we went and we started going to demonstrations whenever the circus would come to town. And it
Wow.
started out with just my mom, my brother, David, and all their friends, the kids' friends. And Olivia was just little at the time. She was only 6 or 7.
Wow.
There's this wonderful picture of her on sitting on a bench with this huge sign. She's so little, and she's got this big sign in front of her, and she's eating a peach.
Oh,
And
that's so cute. Well, you shared some of these pictures. So while you're talking about
Okay.
this, why don't we bring up these pictures
Oh,
and you
great.
can
Yeah.
talk a little bit about this
Okay.
amazing activism that
Oh,
then led to your book. So tell us about this one. This
I
is
love
amazing.
this picture so much. This was taken by Tracy Lynn Housen, actually, and the Week Standard was going to be taking our picture, and Tracy was doing shots of us as well, and this one just a candid one. And whenever you do a demonstration, you're always kind of worked up afterwards. The adrenaline's going, and
Mhm.
and you get a bunch of kindred spirits together, like-minded people, and we were just that picture just we must have been laughing and talking about things. That's on the far right. She's in the book as well as my best friend Sharon, and she helped
Oh,
me form Kingston Animal Trust. And then we all had these T-shirts on. I think, if I remember rightly, they said we're when the circus comes to town, we're the welcoming committee, and
I love it.
and it was a marvelous thing, and in this amazing group of people, we all helped get the circus to stop coming to Kingston. I mean, I don't
Wow.
care about the circus, bring people walking on tight ropes and
Hmm, hmm.
doing all that stuff, but no animals. It's
Right,
so antiquated, and it's there's so much cruelty involved, and most people just don't realize that, but
right.
it is a lifetime of misery for them.
What an amazing thing. One little question from your young daughter could have led
Yes.
to this. So let's keep going and look at some more of
Okay.
these pictures.
Yeah. Well, there's Ola up on the far left. It's my left anyway.
Uh-huh.
Caution performing prisoners holding up a sign.
Wow.
And then, and my youngest, is my oldest daughter in this one? No, I don't see her yet. But the Wig Standard was there taking some pictures as well. And then the picture on the right is really an amazing picture to me. That is my mentor, Marg Buckles. She is in Kingston. She has been an animal rights activist and a teacher. She's a retired teacher now, and still my mentor. I still talk to her about so much. She's just an absolute gem. And she got me involved when I was 12
Mm.
years old
Oh, wow.
with the Humane Society, going to these cat booths and trying to get animals that rescue animals to be adopted. And then as I got older, she had a group, her and a bunch of amazing women that had this group. I think they were Voices for Animals Kingston. And
Wow.
I went to, we got the Gananoque Zoo closed down. They were a horrible zoo. They were breeding,
Wow.
selling animals, and oh, it was just awful. Anyway,
Wow.
I got involved in that, and they used to have meetings at the lower in the library, and they would show videos. And I saw a video of animals being tested on for makeup, and that was it. I stopped.
Oh,
I
wow.
couldn't test on animals. Now it's easy to find stuff like that, but at the time, it was not. So
I
yeah,
wear very little makeup, and that, I
she,
mean, that's not the main reason, but boy, that's a good reason
yeah,
not
it
to,
is a great
right?
reason not to.
Let's look at this one. What do we
Oh,
have
this
here?
was a group of, again, amazing people that we went. There was some abuse that happened in of two dogs that were drowned, and there was a court
Oh.
in Napanee, and we went to go and say, please don't give them a slap on the wrist. More has to be done.
Hmm.
In this too are some people that run Sandy Pine Wildlife, and they take in rescued animals. They are amazing.
Hmm.
And my next book, I think they might make an appearance in there.
Ooh, well, that's exciting that you've got another one coming because
Well, this was the one
obviously,
farm animals. Um,
okay.
again, there's Ola on my left. And we went to that was the one we had in Kingston. Yeah, we had so many people. You know what? Kingston only has 100 and some thousand people in it. And when myself and my daughters and my friends Sharon, and we would get it on there and trying to get people to go. You would not believe rain, sleet. You wouldn't believe how many people would show up for our demos. It was really amazing. At one point in time, we had I think 220 people at a circus demo. It was the very
Wow.
last animal circus I think that came to Kingston, and I think we had more demonstrators than we did. They had people going to
Wow.
see the show. It was
I think
fantastic.
I think people who are passionate about animals and who are animal lovers, are they're unstoppable. Like when you know the joy and conditional love that you get from an animal and the
Yeah.
healing powers. You know, it's so unfathomable that anybody could ever harm an animal. So here, oh my goodness, here's your inspiration. Talk
Yes,
about this
right.
picture.
Yeah, yeah, isn't that adorable? She was so cute. And she, just that picture right there was, I think that one and another one is what I sent to my illustrator. Like, this is what Ola looks like, and
Mhm.
they really nailed her there. Yeah,
I think this is just
yeah.
incredible that it's something that, you know, sparked an idea one morning over breakfast, and something that you can do and continue to do. And this is the last one I have.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, this one is my oldest daughter's friends, and she's hiding in the back there. She's a little bit shy. She's the one that's holding up the sign, the white sign, and she's in the back. That's Sarah. And she used to I mean, the character Ola is kind of a combination of all of us, really, because
Mm,
Sarah was a real animal lover too, and she used to drive her friends crazy to go. And that was one of the first ones. So a whole bunch of her classmates are there and friends. And then when they got older, she'd get her an unbelievable, like all of her teenage girlfriends to come, and
wow,
they would all line up for pictures, and it was great. Yeah, it was
that's
really great. A lot of
amazing.
support. A lot of support.
Well, obviously, there's tons of background and purpose to this
Yeah,
story.
yeah,
So why don't you do a little reading from
okay, all
A
right.
Walk in Ola's Shoes, and then we can continue our conversation.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll read 3 or 4 pages here. I'm gonna start with the dedication because it took me a while to write that. I was trying to think of, what I could say to introduce this book. So the dedication is learning to walk in someone else's shoes, to see the world through their eyes. That's how peace begins. Empathy is a quality of character that can change the world, and I truly believe that. This story was inspired by my amazing daughters and Gordy, who is a better person than I am, even though he's a dog. Dedicated to all of my loved ones and the many wonderful students that I've had the privilege to teach over the years. Let the adventure begin. I'll try to put this so that people can see it. Okay, there we go. Okay. The sun shone so brightly, Ola loved it that way, as she did yoga to prepare for her day. Her morning companion was usually the cat, but today it was Gordy, hogging most of the mat. This floppy eared dog was so faithful and kind, considering the life that he'd left behind. Gordy had been in a cage at the pound. He was sad and alone with no home to be found. But when Ola walked in, it was love at first sight. Her parents agreed. They knew it was right. That's the thing about animals that makes them unique. They forgive our mistakes. It's our love that they seek. Ola loved saving Gordy after all he'd been through, but there's so much more that she wanted to do. As he watched her adoringly, Ola prepared to take on injustice, how his life was spared. A last stretch, a deep breath, then they slowly rose to end with their favorite, the downward dog pose. Ola did yoga to keep her mind calm. To help more animals, she had to stay strong. Each challenge she faced, all the battles she'd won, and at 10 and a half, she had barely begun. Ola was cute in her own special way, with pinchable cheeks, as her Nana would say. She had poker straight hair, lips like a rose, and freckles upon freckles covered her nose. Ola had her own style to which she stayed true. She loved dressing for parties, and Gordy did too. Before she could walk, her parents would say, "Our Ola will change the world one day." Should we leave it at that, like a cliffhanger? Read more?
I think the cliffhanger is a great idea. And
Right.
I love the dedication. And I just wanted to show, you know, if for those who are watching either live or if you're live, feel free to pop in any questions that you might have for Victoria. And Sue says, I love that this book was also a Christmas gift.
Was. Yeah, it was hard to keep this a secret.
I bet.
I gave it to my daughters for Christmas, and they both opened it up at the exact same time. And they remembered that I had started writing it. when
Mhm.
they were young, and they knew it was going to be called that. The name Ola comes from my old boss at Oxford Learning Center, where I worked for a long time teaching there,
Mhm.
and Danielle and her daughter Claire was such a little sweetheart. She used to come. They used to come to protest too. And when Claire
I
was
love
little,
it.
she couldn't say Olivia, and she called her Ola, and it stuck. And I just thought it was just the sweetest name to put in the book. So
Oh, I love that. Well,
yeah,
and as we all know, these things don't happen overnight.
no,
You know, and a book takes a very long time to
excellent.
write and to percolate. So you talked about a little orange box
Yes. Okay. So
before when we were chatting.
right. So this past, I've always had a lot of encouragement, and my mother every so often would say to me, "Did you ever do anything with that book?" And my friend Sharon would say, "Did you ever do anything with the Walk-in-Ola shoes?" And I did send it in some places when it was kind of rough, and I got some feedback that people that said nice things about it. But you know what? I knew it wasn't really ready yet to do much of anything with it, so I stuck it in a box, and that box traveled with me to in our
Mhm.
moves.
And how long
And
ago was that? When did you
um,
first write the
when I
manuscript?
first wrote it, I would say was probably about 12 years ago. And when I first wrote it, I read a little bit of it to the girls and to my husband Mark, and of course they were so, "Girl, that's amazing!" And to my mom. And then my friend Sharon picked me up. We went for coffee at Chapters, and I read it to her in the car as we were sitting inside of Chapters. And she is, you'd have to meet her. She's amazing, and she was, "Oh my God, we have to do this, we have to do that," and it wasn't just meant to be at the time. And I tend to do that anyway. It takes a lot. I'm a bit of a procrastinator. So this past summer, so 2022, my husband had a heart attack. Awful. In his mid 50s. It was terrible. He was
Jeez,
on his way home on his
so
motor.
young. Oh my God.
And anyway, in the hospital for a week, and I'm happy to say he's making a full recovery. He's doing wonderful. But that first week when he got home, I was doing nursemaid, which I'm terrible at. And he did not want to be nursed. He's guy's guy, and he didn't want to have anything to do with that. And I was driving him crazy, and I thought it's either going to kill him or it's going to be a divorce. I have to sort out something here. And the orange box caught my eye, and I pulled it out and I started to look at it, and I thought, you know what? With the way everything is now, you can self-publish. I can find myself an illustrator. I'm going to get on this, and I did. I got on it, and then it's funny, when I got to school back in September, and I have an amazing bunch of kids that I teach. But my first period kids, there's five of them, and we were one day talking about bucket list stuff. Yes, there they are. There they are. Oh, they're wonderful. And then we should show them in the book too. We should
Oh
show
yes. Oh
they're
yeah.
illustrated in the book as well.
Oh, I
Oh,
love
yes,
that.
they're amazing.
Okay,
Anyway,
sorry to
and
interrupt. I had to share.
oh no, I'm so glad you did. And we were talking about bucket list things. So we're doing a warm up. We're gonna do some writing. We're talking about some bucket list stuff. And they asked me, because they're lovely kids, well, what's on your bucket list, miss? And I said, well, to go to Italy for one. And then another one is, I told them, you know what? I wrote a children's book years ago, and I've recently just pulled it out, and I'm kind of working on it again. Read it to us, read it to us. And so I did. And then they bugged me every day about it.
Wow.
Oh, miss, how's that book coming? How's that book coming? That's why they were included in it, along with some inspiring teachers as well,
Oh, that's
and
incredible.
that teach at the school. And yeah, so that's just kind of how all that came about. And I found a wonderful illustrator. She's just amazing, and she really understood my vision, and she
Nice.
kept sending me back pictures, and then there was all the proofing to go on, and I didn't think it was going to get out in time, and I was trying to keep it a secret, and it ended up coming out in November, a month before Christmas. And I thought, oh, I hope nobody posts about it on Facebook or social media, and they say, what, and asking me about it on there. And it stayed a secret. And then they opened it up Christmas Day. And
Oh, that's
I
so
have my
special.
husband videoed it and recorded it. And lots of tears, and I
Oh, I
read
bet.
them. And Sarah's in the book as well. I mean, I know I said it's a combination of all of us, but
Mhm.
Sarah does make it into the book as well. And the pictures of her and her dog, I did look so much like them.
It's
And
amazing.
Gordy, of course, like he's my dog that I rescued. This guy here, I cannot believe how she nailed him. I mean, it looks just like him.
I love
And
him, and I love it when he gets dressed up too. Like in
I
his
know,
little
it's
tuxedo,
so
so cute. I'm
cute.
trying to
Yeah.
find this quickly, but
And
um,
I really did rescue him. He was a rescue, and we have a new dog, Gina, all our dogs have been rescues.
that's
I
awesome.
firmly believe in saving a life. You know, what's not breeding dogs is so silly. Anyway, that's a whole
Right.
other thing.
And
And maybe a
and
book.
I love that this is going to be a series because there's a very powerful environmental message in here as well.
Ah,
And again, not to no spoilers, but there's a big party that she attends, and they release a whole bunch of balloons.
right, right.
And talk a little bit about what do balloons do to wildlife?
Balloons are horrible for the environment, and
Mm,
and as you know, and I'm sure you've probably seen them, we go to the beach all the time. My dogs and I go to the beach, my husband and I go for walks on the beach, and we constantly pick up balloons, and it's just horrible. So but I had written a part of this a long time ago about the balloons, so
mhm,
and I really didn't see the impact of it until I moved out here. And I got in touch with an organization called balloonsblow.org, and
mhm,
they are amazing girls. And well, they were girls at the time they started it. The stories about them, they went to they live in California, and they started they going to the beach with their parents, picking up all these balloons and all this other garbage and plastics and everything. And they decided to start a group when they were just young. So inspiring, so inspiring.
mhm.
And then they it got bigger and bigger, and they're adults now, and I've been in contact with them, and they've sent me some pamphlets and things that I plan on giving out the next time I do a reading somewhere.
Awesome.
And yeah, um and I would love to, once the book makes some money, I could give some donations towards that as well.
Well, that's
That
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I want to make sure that we fit in some discussion about another wonderful part of this book. You have also created activity sheets for teachers and parents as well,
Yeah.
that go with a Walkinola shoes. And
Right.
there's some amazing, lots of fun, great rainy day activities or classroom activities, rhyming words.
Yeah.
And talk a little bit about how did you come up with these sheets? I mean, I know that you're a teacher,
Yeah. Yeah. I
so
used to do that.
probably a natural progression, right?
It is. Yeah, I started thinking about that. What a great, actually, if I'm going to be honest, I think it might have been Marg, my mentor, that said, "Oh, if you had this to go with it," and I think
Mm-hmm,
that's where it came from. And I went on Canva and I made a bunch of these sheets.
mm-hmm,
Got them proofread them to make sure
mm-hmm,
they were good, and I tried them out on my students at
mm-hmm,
school. And I thought, you know what, I should give this away. And so I said I made these little cards to go in the book. And if anybody emails me, I will send them the link, and they can print them out. If they're nearby, I could print them out for them and give them to them.
Okay,
Um,
and here's your email, vdeodato.author@gmail.com.
right.
And you also, this is very directly related to curriculum as well,
It
right?
is. It'd be fantastic for Earth Day,
Mm-hmm.
where you write full sentences, all that. I want to tell a little story, do some rhyming in there,
Mm-hmm.
and like you said before, it's great for kids to know this stuff. Balloons are horrible for the environment, and there's lots of other options rather than balloon releases.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a wonderful idea. You release balloons, people think they go to heaven and whatnot, but that doesn't. But it isn't even just that. Recently, the Louvre Museum in France released a whole bunch of balloons on Valentine's Day.
Oh,
And it shows it coming up into the peak and the roof, and they open it up, and thousands of balloons went into the air. And I thought,
oh no.
oh, I was stunned by that. But it also happens at, the Indy 500 races. It
Mm,
happens all over the place, and it really has to stop. They end up in waterways. They end up being eaten by animals. Just here in Nova Scotia, whales have washed up, and when they do the necropsies, and they find balloons and all kinds of plastic, and when they eat them, their stomachs fill with this, and they can't digest, and they starve to death.
And they,
Um,
yeah, it blocks things and they can't pass them, and it's
right.
horrible.
Horrible. Yeah.
It's
One of my
horrible.
favorite illustrations in the book is this one of the turtle, and about to eat a balloon. And there's a jellyfish, their natural food. And
Yeah.
it breaks my heart that yeah. So people just have to, it's a matter of being aware, right? And so
Hmm.
I'm hoping that A Walk in Ola's Shoes and other books that'll be in the series will raise awareness of these
Hmm.
things and start conversation, right?
Yeah. So you're working on the next one?
I am. So what I'm waiting for right now is the Nova Scotia School Book Bureau and a
Hmm.
lovely lady there bring your book in and we'll review it. And they have to review it and accredit it. And then once that's done, it would be available to all teachers
Hmm.
in any school could order it. And then with that, I would also like to give the pamphlet and all the book activity book ideas for them to work with. Um, and I'd go anywhere and do a reading and talk about it. And hopefully, it gets used for Earth Day. I mean, that's the ultimate place that I would love to see these in. I mean,
Hmm.
sure, it'd be nice to, they're in bookstores and things like that, but to get into the schools and really
Oh,
that audience, right?
that would be huge. That would be
They come
huge.
home, they talk to their parents, mom, things like this. What can we do? And yeah, that's the bread and butter right there.
And you're not excited about this at all.
No, not at all. So yeah,
And
I'm in
what,
the process of writing another one.
good. And
It's
what's the
interesting.
theme?
This one that I was floating around all kinds of ideas, and I've had lots of ideas coming in from people asking
That's
me, and
awesome.
yeah, what do you think about this and that? And one of the natural progressions, I think, after balloons, is people start talking about fireworks that can be very
Oh,
detrimental to
oh,
all kinds of, like, to the environment, to people, to veterans, to animals.
oh,
Um,
stress. Holy moly.
Oh,
Hmm.
horrible.
Hmm.
There's that. The circus has always been my biggest thing.
Hmm.
Um, I love I love the idea of writing one about the circus. That's kind of the roots.
Hmm.
So there's been lots of things, but then in this book, now there's a part, and I'm not going to give it away, but there is a part about a bat getting loose in the house, and Marg
He's so
Buckle
cute.
sent it to a wildlife place, Sandy Pines, and they have a humane education program. And
Uh-huh.
she said to them, "There's this lovely book, and I think you should use it in your humane education program." And they sent a message back to her saying, "It is lovely, but there is a part where it says that Ola's bringing in animals, and we can't go along with that because wild animals need to be in a proper rehab center where they're taken care of. Many of them die." So it
Mm.
was just one little part of the book. And at first I thought, you know what? I don't know why I didn't think of that, of course. But then I was talking to my friend yesterday. This is as soon as yesterday. And she said to me, you know what? Don't change it. Make the next book about that. And there's so many.
That's
There's
a great idea.
all kinds of humane education places. There's the whale sanctuary here right in Nova Scotia that
Mm-hmm.
places like Kiska just died in Marineland. That's
Mm.
another horrible thing. So and of course we have Hope for Wildlife. It's 20 minutes down the road from me.
Oh,
So
she does
if I
amazing work.
all these and about rehab places and getting people to know about that, and Ola being human, she realizes that maybe it isn't the best thing, other than bringing in cats and dogs is one thing,
Mm.
um,
Mm.
but wildlife, leave it to the experts. And I
Mm.
thought, okay, yeah, this is book two. This is
That's,
definitely two. So
oh, that's so
I
exciting.
can't wait to sit down and start writing it out.
That's amazing. And you have had some phenomenal feedback on
I
this book
have.
and reviews, right? So, and people who are watching, as Victoria said, drop her an email if you want a copy of the activity book with all
Right.
kinds of wonderful activities.
Right.
You can order your copy on. I'm going to show you on Amazon. There's Victoria's author page. And then
Right.
there's also, I'm going to just bring up a couple of these wonderful reviews. What does it feel like as a first-time author when you see these 5-star reviews? Look at all of
I
these wonderful 5-star reviews.
Wonderful. I cry every time I read one. They're so amazing. People have really been very kind and generous.
Mm.
I love it. Every time a new one pops up, it's like Christmas Day. Like it's so
Yeah.
exciting.
Look, I
There's
mean,
some lovely ones on there.
that's all. I mean, that is like kudos to you. 34 5-star. Oh, I don't know if they're all 5-star, but
Yeah,
and
they are. They
I
sure
kept
are.
scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and they all seem to be 5-star to me.
Yeah, they are. They're wonderful.
Well,
It's lovely.
congratulations.
And
My
I
goodness.
also just got another review from Atlantic Book Reviews, and she put it on
Yes.
the page on my face, and I was blown away by that as well. What a
That's
lovely review!
Lana Shoup. She is fantastic
Yes,
and so supportive.
yes.
And I
Oh,
said, "Oh my goodness, I'm interviewing her tomorrow." So yeah, so
yes,
we're very
wonderful.
excited, and it's a lovely book, and just so excited to have a copy in my hands. And I can't believe that we're already um, uh, at our time. And
Yes,
thank you ever so much for joining me. I just want to
thank
make
you.
sure everybody has seen your email address if they want to get a hold of you, because I think that activity sheet should be used in every classroom.
Thank you so much for having me. What a pleasure. I was worried that, we'd run out of things to talk about.
Oh my goodness, we could go for another half an hour, but
I think so, yes.
I want you to come back when the next
Oh,
book comes out.
yes,
So make sure you
absolutely.
keep me posted. I'm
Yeah,
sure, and we'll run into each other. We're both in Nova Scotia, so
yeah, definitely.
we're not far away. Thank you so much,
You
Victoria.
so much. You take care.
You too.
Okay.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us this week on the author journey, where we explored some of the environmental issues that Victoria Deodato has addressed in her newest book, or her first book, A Walk in Ola's Shoes. And there's more to come from Victoria, so we'll have to stay tuned and wait for information or news on her next release. So for now, I'm Ann O'Connell with OC Publishing, and I'll say bye for now. See you next time on the